Hello, this is Pal. Today I'm going to review an album from Crystal Castles which came out in 2008 and it's self-titled. It's titled Crystal Castles as well. I'm not a musician, I'm not a music theorist, so what I'm going to look for is symbolism, feel, how did it fit into the times and how does it fit into contemporary times. I treat songs like speech. Each song, even painting and sculpture, they are like speech, and you can translate them by just considering what they remind you of immediately when you glance at them. Even the album art here, it's very nihilistic, as you can see. They don't seem to care about how the album looks like. There is some very poor Photoshop, which is Crystal Castle's general style, really. It just takes everything on board, what aesthetics should be, and it does the opposite. Again, it's very nihilistic, it's very counterculture. That was Crystal Castles used to stand for those values from the very beginning. And the first song is Untrusted. Alright, as you can tell from the very beginning, it's very dreamy, very airy. It kind of sounds like it's someone saying an ooh sound, so it's ooh, 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 and it just goes like that in a laggy way forever. So as you can see, it's very kind of magical. So again, it's very relaxed and it's very careless. I can see someone just stumbling about on a party, and the song actually gets more hectic after the first few seconds. So it starts out with a fairly basic ooh sound, and there comes a more arm wavy sound layered on it. It does sound like the person who made these sounds, and it does sound like speech, it does sound like singing, just altered. It does sound like they're just going about on their party, and when the music gets particularly good, they start waving around their arms, and they're just like stumbling, right? And then the vocals start. I'm going to warn you in advance, the vocals sound very kind of druggy. They are very... but you will see on the way. It's very slurred, and it sounds like the person is not on alcohol. The person is not drunk. They are supposed to be on a drug which is very mysterious. It's just some drug. The vocals actually have a meaning. They are an edited Spanish phrase. And if I remember right, I didn't actually check what it's supposed to be, but if I remember right, it's La cocaína es no buena, su salud. And roughly that would translate to cocaine not being good for your health. And that's why the speech is so slurred. I don't think the protagonist of this song is necessarily high on any specific drug. They are more high on a lifestyle, and it sounds like the very electric systems producing this sound are glitching out because how it's kind of corrupted by the substance. Very typical for Crystal Castles to lag. You know, when something repeats, like ooh ooh repeatedly, it does give you this vibe that this is a broadcast from somewhere else, maybe from a different world or from the head of another person, and the broadcast is a little glitchy. It gives it a very adventurous feeling, a very otherworldly, other dimensional feeling. Intoxication again. When you just don't know whether you're happy or sad, but it doesn't really matter because it's catharsis. This sound, this voice, at the same time, sounds happy, careless, but on the other hand, it also sounds like she's crying, right? If we can assume that it's a female, like Alice would be, the singer. It's a little bit like, you can hear it. So I think the vocals were a comprehensible part of the experience, of the party experience. When a certain part of the actual song hits on the party, or a certain change happens in the person's mind, it becomes cathartic again, and it becomes lost again. So initially there was a vocal, and then we went back to the ooh 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 part where you're not really aware of yourself anymore. And then it just gets wild again, as I've told you. I admire this fake confidence. Sometimes it is very laggy, almost suffering. Sometimes it's very careless, almost childish. But sometimes, just like you could see it in the middle part of the dialogue, sometimes it looks almost, it has a certain pride which people have when they're intoxicated, when they have an altered state of consciousness. They're on a party, or they're on the street crawling, but they still have this sort of, I'm so desirable and cool, and like there is in the middle of the vocals, I could feel a little bit of that, and I'm actually going to try to demonstrate it to you again. It's really important to consider the symbolism of the legs. The legs in this case does stand for just losing control a little bit. You know, when you're in a certain state, maybe you're under the influence of a substance or an event, a significant event, and sometimes you just lose your complexion, your composure, right? And you just either break down crying, or you break down laughing. The legs stand for that, because that's what happens to a robot as well, or to a software when they lose control for a moment. You know, we had those Android moments when people are just like, hello, how can I help you? And they just like spasm. Poppy would do art video like that.
But how important gravity is. Why is there so much?
I might attach it in a moment. Very interesting. The fun carries on, but the person deteriorates. So it's the same ooh ooh, it's the same beat, but it's falling apart, and the distance between the beats actually becomes slightly greater. Instead of ooh ooh ooh, it becomes ooh 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 ooh, like there is a bit greater distance between the beats. And now comes a part that is very interesting. Only for a second, right? All the features from the song just suddenly cut, and almost a new song starts just for a few seconds. And I truly believe that this is the part where the protagonist of the song becomes self-aware only for a moment, and they actually hear the real sounds of the party around themselves. So let's just give it a listen, and you will hear what I mean. So yeah, this was the part. It was more like a rock concert than anything else, but clearly the substance make all the sounds muffled, different, slowed down, and it creates that ooh ooh sound instead of the crazy rock concert that the protagonist is experiencing. It is an absolutely beautiful narrative, I think. It is a little scary, it is a little sad, because even under that numbness, under this numbing effect of the drug, the protagonist doesn't sound happy. They don't sound like they're in control. They just like distorted, and they sound like they are even crying at times. You know, sometimes they have diva moments. Sometimes they look proud. They sound proud. Sometimes they have this odd glamour to them, which Alice had as well on stage when singing for Crystal Castles. It was a little messy, and it was supposed to be glamorous. It really captured the imagination of younger people. This song is a warning, the lyrics are a warning, and the protagonist itself as a character is a warning as well, because they are very far from being happy, and they can't even hear a concert properly because their senses are so altered. Okay, so this video was meant to be an album review analysis, really. And I don't think it's going to be, because this single song captured my imagination so much already that I feel like it will just get its own video. I'm more than happy to, and I'm going to listen to further Alice Crystal Castle songs. But this is going to be it now, because if I would go over all 18 sounds, that would be like, what was this? It was almost 20 minutes. So 18 times 20. I'm not going to say how much that is, but that would be a crazy amount of time. So yeah, please enjoy. Please take this interpretation of this song. I absolutely love seeing songs. I love feeling songs, and I would like to carry on with this because these stories are just beautiful. Alright, have a lovely day, and I shall carry on with my Let's Plays and song analysis as well. Bye bye.